Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shannon, and today I'm going to be doing a book haul. So, the Books A Million right now is doing a buy two get the third free sale, so I made sure to go over to my local one because that's a lot closer than Barnes & Noble is to me. And I got a lot of books, to say the least. Just dive right in, so let's do it. Okay, so the first thing I got was actually 7 books, and I actually bought the entire Harry Potter series. So my reasoning behind this is A, it was buy two get the third free, and that's a huge deal. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when these were first published, the spines were like all a solid color. If I'm correct. I think I am. But I saw that these not only have the original covers, but they all form a solid picture. And I've seen the one that's like the Hogwarts solid picture that's like blue and painted what Hogwarts looks like. But I saw this and I really loved that they had all the original covers on it, so I just had to get them. And my reasoning behind buying these is I am a massive Harry Potter fan. Like, my mom practically raised me on them because she was a big Harry Potter fan. We saw the last 3 movies in theaters on opening night. Like, I have memories sitting outside the front door to the theater that it was playing in at the movie theater, and like so we could be first in line and get the best seats. Like, we were diehard fans, and that was when I was in like elementary school. I actually have a snitch tattoo on my arm. I love these books. They basically raised me, but I remember I only read the first 3 when I was younger, and when I say younger, I was like 7, 8 reading these books. And I remember stopping because I just didn't want to read anymore. But now that I've gotten back into reading, I would love to actually finally read all these. Also, I remember when I was little thinking these were so long. This book is so short. It's 300 pages. That's nothing. I could read that in an evening. But I'm really looking forward to reading these and fully annotating them, because I definitely didn't annotate books when I was younger, and I'm so excited to finally read them all, because I'm so excited. I actually got this book from Target, if you can see the Target sticker, because I had to go to Target right after I went to BAM to get ant traps, actually. But they're like right next to each other in my neighborhood, so I left and just walked over to Target. And of course I went to the book section, because why wouldn't I? And I saw this book, and just the title is what brought me in, and it's called The Curse of Saints. Let me remove this sticker 1 second. Anywho, it's called The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas. It could be Drammy, I don't know. But I'll read you the description. It says, as an elite spy and the Queen's third in command, Aya has dedicated herself to a life of discipline and duty, using her God's-given abilities to keep dark magic from ever returning to the realm. Her oath ensures she will always act to protect those she fights alongside, including Will, the Queen's enforcer and Aya's bitter rival. Obviously, enemies to lovers. And then it says, they're forced by circumstance to work together. Aya and Will struggle to come to an uneasy truce, but when tragedy strikes, Aya instinctively reacts, unleashing a power that hasn't been seen in over 500 centuries. Shaken, she's confronted with an impossible truth, one that threatens the precious grip she keeps on her control. one that forces her to work with will to discover who or what she really is, and one that could turn her into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. But the last line in it says, with will by her side and untold power at her fingertips, Aya will have to decide, has she been sent to save the realm she loves or destroy it? And I think it sounds so interesting. I'm not sure if it's YA. If I had to guess, I would say no, just because how it's formatted. But I think it sounds so good. I'm so excited to read this. It's definitely going on my immediate TBR. Alright, and then the next book I got was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, because I've yet to read this book because the whole premise kind of warded me off a little bit for a while, just because the whole escort thing. And I don't really know why, because I'm fine with spicy books. I love spicy books. But I don't know, I thought it was a little weird. But I decided to just get it and find out if I'll like it, because on a sale like this I feel like I have to. Although I will say the only thing I don't love about it is that, or the main thing that I'm not a huge fan of, is I love when romance books are dual point of view. Like, if I see that, odds are I will be buying the book, just because I love getting the man's point of view in a romance novel. And this doesn't have that. But I do love other books that don't do that, like Tessa Bailey's books. So we'll see. We will see how I enjoy this. Alright, the next book I got was called The Last Carolina Girl. And I'm pretty sure this is a thriller, but like lit fic. Or historical fiction, I should say, because it's like based in 1935. And it says, so it looks like it's a literary fiction book about a young girl whose father passes away in a massive accident, and then she gets put into a family of people she does not know. Well, they're her family, but she doesn't know them well. And it has a lot of secrets, but it looks like she gets thrust into the secrets within the new family that she's having to be a part of. And it says that it's a powerful and heart-wrenching story of a fierce strength, forgotten history, autonomy, and the places and people we ultimately call home. So it's definitely a literary fiction book, but it sounds really interesting. The next book I got is The Friend Zone. I have not actually read any of Abby Jimenez's, that's so confusing to say, books yet, but I do own a couple and I'd really like to get to them. They're actually on my TBR bookshelf. It sounds really nice because I really like Friends to Lovers. I didn't used to. I thought it was just kind of played out, kind of dumb, in all honesty. Then I read Hook, Line, and Sinker and Love in Other Words, and I love those both. Friends to Lovers is amazing. You just see the relationship build and build and build, especially if it's in dual point of view, and I love it so much, because usually Friends to Lovers is kind of where the guy falls harder, and I love that. Like, girl falls first, guy falls harder kind of thing. That's usually the vibe I get from Friends to Lovers, so hopefully this is that. And I think it sounds really good. So it looks like she's helping plan her best friend's wedding, and her and the best man kind of hit it off trying to plan the wedding, while she's struggling with a medical procedure that will make her not able to have kids. But it sounds really good. Okay. The next book I got, The Cartographers. I have wanted this book for a while. I don't know why I've been putting off pulling the trigger on it, but again, with the sale, I had to do it. It just worked out perfectly for me. So it's about this girl named Nell and her father, who, they're both cartographers because she took after him. Her father is like her biggest hero, that kind of vibe. and they haven't spoken in years because they had a huge fight about this map that is seemingly very unimportant. And then one day he turns up dead, and the map is on his office, in his, like, desk. And so she starts to look into it, investigating what's going on with this map. Why is it so why is it so valued and rare? And it looks like someone is trying to destroy every copy that's in existence of it, and it's just her going down the rabbit hole to see what all the map is about. And it sounds really interesting. I love a good thriller. The next book I got was Christina Lauren's Roomies, which I think the premise sounds really interesting because marriage of convenience and roommate trope, because I love that. I know this book got some slack. Is that the right word? It got very mediocre reviews. What was it called? Why can't the Flat Share? I know the Flat Share got some like, people thought it was an alright book, but I actually really, really loved it. And I love the roommate trope, just close proximity, all that stuff. And it seems like this girl named Holland, she recommends this musician to her uncle for his Broadway show. And I love Broadway, another thing that intrigued me about this book. And he loves him. He loves Calvin's music, and he would love for him to have his Broadway musical debut. But only thing is, he's in the country illegally. His student visa expired years ago, and so she marries him so that he can stay in her uncle's musical. And I think that sounds really interesting, and I'm sure I don't know. I think it sounds really good with the whole roommate and marriage of convenience. I love a good marriage of convenience. Like, In a Jam, that was a wonderful book. I loved that book. I just love marriage of convenience because it just always works out. I mean, that's romance books. They always work out. But I think the one thing I don't love about it is when they're, like, in love and stuff, they're usually like, oh, we're already married, we'll just stay married. Like, I don't know. But I think it'll be really good. Okay. The next book I got was called The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. Oh, she's the author of In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I'm just gonna read the description of this one because it's long and it sounds like something I could not summarize well. Anywho, it says, while in college in New York, Shay Evans and her best friends met a captivating man who seduced them with a web of lies about the way the world works, bringing them under his thrall. By senior year, Shay and her friend Laurel were the only ones who managed to escape. Now, 8 years later, Shay's built a new life in a Tony, Texas suburb. But when she hears the horrifying news of Laurel's death, delivered of always by her favorite true crime podcast crusader, she begins to suspect that the past she thought she buried is still very much alive, and the predators more dangerous than ever. So it looks like she recruits the help of the podcast host that she found out about Laurel's death from, and they investigate her death and go into all of her past and see what went wrong. But I think it sounds really interesting. It kind of reminds me of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder with the whole podcast, true crime podcast. Alright, and the last book I got was Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. And the reason I got this, one of the reasons I got this is because I saw Rebecca Yarros was reading it, and that says everything I need to know. Okay, I'm gonna read this description as well because fantasy books are confusing and hard to summarize. So it says, every year, thousands in the kingdom of Talon, I'm going to butcher these pronunciations, just letting you know that now, will flock to its capital, Twin Cities, San Air, where the palace hosts a set of games. For those confident enough in their ability to jump between bodies, there is a fight to the death across thin air for a chance to win unimaginable riches. Princess Calla Tuolimi lurks in hiding. 5 years ago, a massacre left her parents dead and the palace of air empty, and she was the one who did it. Before her uncle, King Kasa, and his forces in San can catch her, she plans to finish the job and bring down the monarchy. The king always greets the victor of the games, so if she wins, she gets her opportunity to kill him at last. Enter Anton Makusa, an exiled aristocrat. His childhood love has lain in a coma since they were both ousted from the palace, and he's deep in debt trying to keep her alive. Thankfully, he's one of the best jumpers in the kingdom, flitting from body to body at his will. His last chance at saving her is entering the games and winning. Calla finds both an unexpected alliance with Anton and help from King Kasa's adopted son, August Shenzi, who wants to mend Talon's ills. But the three of them have very different goals, even as Calla and Anton's partnership spirals into something all-consuming. Before the games close, Calla must decide what she's playing for, her lover or her kingdom. Obviously, this sounds fantastic. Although, I might be crazy in saying this. I might be completely inaccurate in saying this. But it kind of reminds me of The Lion King. An exiled aristocrat. Not Simba, Scar is what that reminds me of. Princess Calla, or just the name alone reminds me of Nala. And then what really got me is King Kasa's adopted son, August Shenzi. If you know The Lion King, you know one of the hyenas was named Shenzi. I don't know. I could be crazy, but that just reminded me of it for some reason. Anywho, those are the 16 books that I got today. If you liked this video, or if you got this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!